The December wind cut through Elena Vargas's thin cream-colored dress as she sat at the bus stop. Her worn backpack beside her. At 24 she already looked older. Worn down by months living on the street after losing everything, her blonde hair hung limp and her bare feet were numb against the cold pavement. She had sold her last pair of shoes 3 days ago just to eat. Snow fell softly, blurring the evening lights into halos of gold and red. Elena pulled her knees close, trying to preserve what little warmth remained. The bus shelter offered almost no protection. She watched how the people hurry past, bundled in thick coats, rushing toward warm homes she could only imagine. A small figure appeared through the snowfall. A little girl, perhaps 4 years old, wore a burgundy dress under a grey knitted cap. She walked with the careful steps of a child concentrating hard. In her mittened hands she carried a paper bag. The girl stopped directly in front of Elena, studying her with solemn brown eyes. "Are you cold?" the child asked, her voice clear in the winter stillness. Elena tried to smile, a little. "Sweetheart. But I'm okay." The girl looked down at Elena's bare feet, then back at her face. Without a word she extended the paper bag. "This is for you." Elena's throat tightened. "Oh, honey, I can't take your food." "It's okay," the girl said simply. "Daddy bought me cookies." "But you look hungry." Behind them, a man in a dark coat stood watching, snow gathering on his shoulders. He made no move to call the child back. Elena accepted the bag with shaking hands. Inside were fresh cookies from a nearby bakery. Still warm, the smell alone brought tears to her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. The little girl tilted her head, considering Elena with a wisdom beyond her years. Then she said something that would change everything. "You need a home. And I need a mommy." The words hung in the snowy air between them. Elena looked up at the child, stunned. "What's your name?" "Sweetheart, Lucía," the girl said. "My mommy went to heaven. Daddy says she's an angel now." "Are you an angel?" "No, baby. I'm just someone who made some mistakes." Lucía reached out and touched Elena's cheek with surprising gentleness. "Daddy says everyone makes mistakes. That's why we need love." The man finally approached. He was perhaps 40 with kind eyes that held deep sadness. He knelt beside his daughter. "I'm sorry," he said to Elena. "Lucía has a way of finding people who need help. I'm Sebastian Castillo." Elena started to apologize, to explain she didn't want to bother them. But Sebastian held up his hand. "My daughter's right," he said quietly. "You need shelter. And we have an extra room. My wife passed 6 months ago. The house feels too empty." He paused. "I'm not making promises beyond tonight. But no one should be out here in this cold. If you'd like a warm meal and a safe place to sleep, the offer stands." Elena had learned to be wary. The streets taught hard lessons about trust, but something in Sebastian's eyes and in Lucia's innocent faith felt genuine. "I don't want charity," she managed. "It's not charity," Sebastian said. "It's humanity. Someone helped me once when I needed it. I'm just passing it forward." Lucía took Elena's hand. "Please come home with us. It's Christmas soon and Santa brings presents to people who have homes." Elena looked at this little girl in her grey knitted cap, offering unconditional acceptance, and at this father extending kindness without judgment. Something broke open inside her chest. Some frozen place she had thought dead. "Okay," she whispered. "Just for tonight." But one night became several. Sebastian offered Elena the guest room and asked nothing in return except that she join them for meals. Lucía attached herself to Elena immediately, showing her every toy, every book, every corner of their home. Elena learned that Sebastian was a teacher, that his wife had died in a car accident, and that grief had made their house feel impossibly large. She learned that Lucía had nightmares and that her presence seemed to comfort the child. In turn, Elena shared her story, the job loss, the medical bills from her mother's final illness, the cascade of circumstances that had left her homeless. She had never been an addict, never been in trouble. She had simply been unlucky and too proud to ask for help until it was too late. Sebastian listened without judgment. "Life can break any of us," he said. "What matters is whether someone's there to help us stand again." Over the following weeks, Elena began to heal. Sebastian helped her find work at a local library. Lucía insisted Elena tuck her in each night. Their bedtime ritual became sacred to both of them. One evening, 3 months later, Elena found Sebastian in the living room looking at photos of his late wife. "She would have liked you," he said. Amanda always said kindness recognizes kindness. Elena sat beside him. Lucia offered me her cookies that night. But she gave me so much more. She gave me a reason to believe in goodness again. Sebastian nodded. She needed you, too. Since you came. She started smiling again. Really smiling. Lucia appeared in her nightgown. Her grey cap still on her head. She wore it constantly now. Like armor against the world. Are you staying forever? She asked Elena directly. Elena looked at Sebastian, who nodded slightly. If you'll have me, Elena said. I'd like that very much. Lucia climbed into her lap. Good. Because you're my mommy now. I told Santu and he said it was okay. Elena held this precious child and this family that had found her in the snow. She thought about that winter night. How close she had come to giving up entirely. How one small act of kindness had lit a candle in her darkness. Sebastian reached over and the three of them sat together. A family formed not by blood, but by compassion. By the simple human need to belong and be loved. Outside, snow fell gently, but inside, everything was warm. Sometimes angels do come to us in our darkest moments. Sometimes they wear grey knitted caps and carry cookies, and sometimes when we're brave enough to accept their gifts, they save us. Not just from the cold outside, but from the cold within. Thank you for listening to today's story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next story.